Alabama A&M head football coach Anthony Jones will start us off. Coach, are you there?
Yes, I am. Good morning.
Good morning, Coach. If you could open things up with a comment and just give us a recap of your victory over Grambling State and preview your opponent coming up this week as well.
Okay. Well, I mean, it was a very interesting game. In fact, that kind of all summer long, I should say training camp long, it's been kind of cool, and then we get down there and it's going to be extremely hot. But we were able to check out the forecast in advance, so we knew it was going to be extremely hot. So we were fortunate enough to plan ahead and got our kids ready for that weather that was down there. I thought we did a great job of managing them prior to the game, and went down there not knowing a lot about Grambling, particularly on the offensive side, what they were going to do defensively. But again, it was kind of the same as for them because we had a bunch of new guys playing, and they didn't know what those new guys were capable of or what their strengths and weaknesses were. And so it was kind of an interesting feel-out period, the first part of the game, and that's kind of what happened was a feeling-out process. They made some plays, we made some plays, and we were able to score and get a safety early going, and made a big play. I think field position was a big part of the game, particularly the first half, and we won that field position battle. Then they made a mistake late in the second quarter, and we were able to get an interception and able to take that interception back for a touchdown. Well, end up driving for a touchdown, I should say, on a very short field. And so that was kind of the turning point. Right before the half, we go up 16-3. And after that, we came out in the second half, made some adjustments, and went and took the ball the length of the field and was able to kind of score again. And I think it was 23-3. Then we made a mistake in the fourth quarter, threw an interception. They took advantage of it and scored. And before you know it, that's how the game kind of ended. But I think the key part was field position. Our young guys played extremely well. Of course, mistakes were made on both sides of the ball, but we were able to minimize our mistake for the most part. We were able to come away with a victory. This week, we'll go down. We're here at home. We're going to play Tuskegee. Tuskegee is always a tough opponent. We know what they are as far as winning, what kind of players they'll have, how well they'll be coached, and things of that sort. It's our Louis Cruz Classic, which is a tough game in itself, but we're going to have a lot of people there, and hopefully they'll come out and cheer us on, and hopefully we'll find a way to put together a good game plan and find a way to come out on top. And that's pretty much it.
At this time, we'll take questions for Alabama A&M head coach Anthony Jones.
Coach, just talk about how your young players performed, being that they were in their first collegiate contest.
I was very proud of them. We had a lot, like I said before, we had a lot of adverse situations. The weather, going to a place like Grambling, there's a lot of tradition there, a lot of history, not a lot of good history on our part, and our kids kind of blocked that out and went down there, we stayed together, we played hard, and that's the main thing. The kids played hard. They played hard and played smart, and the Lord blessed us with a win. So, I was real proud of how the guys played, particularly on the offensive side. You got a bunch of freshman linemen, first-time players out there, first-time quarterback, first-time running back. So, they did well. For the most part, took care of the ball. We had 2 late turnovers, and both of them were errors that we had some control over, which we didn't do a good job of exercising good judgment on, and they took advantage of it. So, but for the most part, our young guys played well.
Talk about the play of Robin Nelson, Coach. 7 tackles, 3 for a loss of 4 yards, and he secured the first points of the 2013 season for you.
Yeah, Robert is one of our leaders. He came down, worked extremely hard this off season. Had a chance to play. He did a great job. he fought off a lead blocker, and I was able to tackle him for a tackle for loss in the end zone, and that kind of got us going. We knew we was going to have to lean on our defense to make some plays. We knew we would have to lean on our special teams, and our special teams did a heck of a job again with Rashard Anderson. He came in and punted for us for the first time and kept them pinned back. I think we had 3 of them down inside the 10-yard line. So the field position was a key part of that ball game, particularly in the early going. And, of course, Robert making that big play for us. And that kind of set the tempo of things to come.
What do you tell your players differently this week, Coach? Now it's the Louis Cruz Classic, 4th year. You guys have never lost, and you defeated Tuskegee the last few years. What do you tell your players differently?
All that means nothing. All that means there's more fuel on the fire for them. We know what kind of football team they have. We know what kind of history they bring here. Very, very, very capable team of beating not only us but anybody. And so we got to be very mindful of that. We got to prepare a certain way, and we got to approach this game a certain way. And if we don't, we're going to come up short. And we know that for a fact. So we got to get ourselves ready. I got a feeling they saw us play last week, and we haven't seen them play. So again, this will be week 2. We go into a ball game kind of under a cloud of mystery as to what our opponent will do. But we'll figure it out and go from there.
Coach, good morning to you. Ty Miller from Sheridan Broadcasting. A very low-scoring game against Tuskegee last year, although you came out on top by 1 point. What sticks out about that game most in your mind?
Our penalties. I thought offensively we did a good job of moving the ball. Then we would do something stupid. And, I hate to put it that way, but the truth hurts. And this is one of those times. We played well. I think we had close to 400 yards of offense, somewhere around there. Moved the ball well. I think we had like 9 penalties, and most of them were kind of that were very, very, very preventable. They were selfish penalties, and they put a stop to a number of our drives. And that's something that we'll be talking about. That's something that we'll be preparing for. When you play a team like Tuskegee, a very good, well-coached team that has very, very good athletes out there, and you take or you hurt yourself with penalties and things of that sort, your chances of winning are going to be greatly reduced. And, that game came down to the last seconds. I mean, we won by 1.76, and they were kicking a field goal to try to win, and we almost gave them a penalty in that regard to move the kid up 15 yards closer. So penalties will be the theme. We know they're a good football team, but penalties, or I should say lack of penalties, will be the theme for this week.
One more question, Coach, quickly. When taking on Tuskegee, much like Alabama State, are there some kids who know each other, and is the rivalry a little bit more intense?
Yeah, it always is. I mean, you got in-state schools playing. You're going to have guys that were teammates that played against each other, that live near each other and things of that sort. And so there's going to always be that interstate talking and things of that sort. And, sometimes it's healthy, sometimes it's not. But it is what it is. We know it's going to exist. We just got to control it as much as we can, because when it's all over and said and done, it's not going to be what is said. It's going to be what is done to determine the outcome.
Still got time for one more question with Alabama A&M head coach Anthony Jones.
Coach, this is Nick Burstone with the AL.com.
Mm-hmm. Hey.
I know you had a lot of coming in this year. What did you learn about them in week 1 that you think might be
I didn't hear the first part of your question. I had a lot of what?
I said, I know you had a lot of new players coming in this year, guys who hadn't had much experience on the field. What did you learn about them in week 1 that's going to bode well for the rest of the season?
Well, I mean, I think what we learned about week 1 is that the kids come and they'll play hard. And I think when you got guys that play hard, you can try to take the next step. Whether you won or not, if they played hard, at least you know the young men will give you the best they have. They weren't afraid. They went down there, and you just don't want guys that are afraid of that moment, that hold back because they're afraid to fail and things of that sort. Just go out there, play as hard as you can, play as smart as you can, and let it go. And the mistakes we'll make, we'll go back and we'll correct them, and we'll try to make you a better football player in regards to that. And I think that's what kind of happened Saturday. Our guys just played hard. They went out there, played hard. They weren't afraid to pass out because of the heat. They trusted what we were doing, and so they just went out there and played hard. And I was very, very proud of that.
Coach Jones, we appreciate your time. Thank you very much, and we will talk to you again next week. Good luck with Tuskegee on Saturday.
Thank you very much. I take care.
Thanks.